Hey ladies, sorry I haven't been posting videos in a while. It's been a pretty busy few weeks, and so yeah, no excuses though, but I do apologize for that because it's nice to know though that some of you are concerned and asking where I am, so that's really cool. But sorry for not posting in a while. This last few weeks have been pretty crazy here at home, and yeah, hence why there's not been much posting, and I haven't really been myself the last 2 weeks, and so I wasn't really in the right frame of mind to be making videos, to be honest. Anyway, I'm back, so let me just fill you in with what's been happening in my life. First of all, I have resigned from my job. That's probably the biggest news that there is. It's been a long time coming. I've been praying and thinking about what I should be doing if this was still the position that God wanted me in, and Myke and I have spent a lot of time praying and have decided that it's not where God wants us anymore, which is really hard to deal with because we love a lot of the people there and care about them and things, but it's time to move on. So in saying all of that, I handed in my resignation last Tuesday, and it was announced to the church yesterday, which is why I can finally tell you on here that I have left my job. I have another job already lined up to go, which is great. It is not a pastoral position. I'm going to be working for a Christian organization that deals with finance, which I know absolutely nothing about, but it's admin and reception and things like that, and the role is kind of new, so it can evolve to something that I'm good at, hopefully. So yeah, that's a pretty big change, and the reason why I'm not going back into a pastoral role, I won't get too much into it other than to say I need a little bit of a break from it, so I can kind of get back to who I am. I think this whole year has been pretty tough, both in my job and in our home life and everything like that. So I just need something where I don't have to kind of bring work home with me, where I can just leave it at work and that be that. I thought I would feel really relieved handing in my resignation and things, but it's been so difficult to deal with. I mean, I love these kids and they're like my own, many of them, and some of them are really understanding, and then there's others of them that are pretty heartbroken, and that's hard to watch, and hard to deal with, feeling like you're breaking their hearts effectively. I know that's not the case, but it's still really tough, just because some of them, yeah, you know, I'm kind of the only adult in their life that has made an effort for them. So yeah, that's really just hard to watch. But I feel like the worst is over for now. It'll be really tough my last week there as well. I think just knowing that that's the end. So that's the first big major thing. And that's also why we've had to hold off on IVF, knowing that I was probably going to be leaving my job, and here in New Zealand you only get maternity leave if you've been working in your position for at least a year. So we're looking at sometime next year trying our first embryo transfer. But that's essentially why we've held off, because we need to make sure I'm getting paid. And Myke has just arrived home, hence the dog's going nuts. Oh, pardon me. So the other big thing is, last week Myke was really sick. So let me just get my dates right. On the 9th of August, Myke was really sick. He came home from work early. He was not feeling well. He was coughing really badly, and he said every time he coughed, he felt like someone was punching him in the chest. Sunday wasn't getting any better. Monday he was just out of it. He didn't go to uni. He got up at about 7:30 in the morning. Monday's my day off, so that's why I do filming and everything on Monday. He got up, went to the bathroom, and I heard all these things knock over in the bathroom, and I thought, oh no, has he fainted? So I'm calling him. I'm saying, Myke, Myke, and he's not answering his name. And so I run into the bathroom, and he's lying on the ground, but his arm is resting on the toilet seat with his head resting on his arm, and the lights are on, but no one is home. I'm calling him, and he's not answering his name. And Mike's just home, so one moment. Yeah, so his head was resting on his arm, resting on the toilet seat, and I was calling him, talking to him, and he just wasn't looking at me. He was looking into the distance. And then next minute, he just starts breathing really weird. It's just like he's trying to suck in air, and it's just making this awful noise. So I freak out. There's nothing... I would be horrible in an emergency. Don't ever call me if you're in trouble, because I'm just like so useless. I don't put him in the recovery position or anything. I just run out the door, and I'm screaming for our neighbor to come. They're literally like 5 meters next door to us, asking him to come in and help me. And by the time we both rush back in, Mike's come around. He's kind of conscious again, but he's just pouring with sweat. He's just like, the sweat is pour. I've never seen it just dripping off of someone like that. It looked like I turned the shower hose on him, and he was just dripping with water. So Marcus, our neighbor, says to us, no, he's going to call an ambulance, and the ambulance was here within 5 minutes, which was awesome. And we take Mike to the hospital, and so the doctor called it like a syncopal, I don't know, episode, which basically means Mike's, because he was not feeling well, and he'd been really weak and everything. When he stood up, his heart would have been pumping the blood out, but not up, and so it was a lack of oxygen to the brain, and all the symptoms that followed were evidence of that. So not only did it scare the hell out of me, but it just was like super emotional and everything like that. And Mike not being well at all, it took him basically the whole week to recover from just this illness. He tried to go to uni on Thursday, and he went along, but it was just really difficult. So he took Friday off, and he went back to work on Saturday, and he was feeling much better. So he's pretty much back to normal now, which is awesome. But it was just like, it was a big scare. And so that was on the Monday, and the Tuesday I handed in my resignation. It was just like such an emotional week of it all, and yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know what else to update you on other than to say I'm sorry it hasn't been, I haven't updated in a while. I've got a couple of videos to upload. I've got one with my lovely friend Steph, who has done IVM, which is slightly different to IVF. For those of you who have PCOS, it might be something to consider. It is quite a long video because it's kind of her story intertwined with what IVM is all about. So, yeah, if you're really keen, I hope you watch that. I've also got a video from when I went to the food show with my mum, which I love the food show. It's basically a big event that they run. That's just all the latest foods and different companies that come along, and you get to try samples. It's just amazing. And then there's something I want to ask you guys about. So every year in New Zealand they have the baby show, which is for pregnancy, newborns, all the way up to toddler, and they've got all the different companies open there. So I'm really keen to go along. If you would like me to film and show you around, I'm happy to do that. So hopefully that will be of some value to you. Other than that, what else can I tell you? Basically, everything that's happened has been pretty emotional. I think what I'm struggling with most is I'm the kind of person that, like, I have a plan, I have my life set out, I know what's going to happen next week. You know, my diary is my best friend. If I don't take it to work, I feel pretty lost. And this whole IVF infertility experience has been a learning experience of, actually, I can't just have my whole life planned out. I can't, you know, the decisions I make not necessarily always mean that I get the outcome that I want. Even with changing jobs, changing careers, you know, it's just a whole new thing, and my body's kind of, I guess that's why I feel a little bit depressed and a little bit sad about it all, is because I can be quite controlling in how I want my life to go, and not the unknown scares me. The unknown is very unsettling, and so I'm struggling. If I'm honest, I'm just struggling to be excited about anything at the moment, because the IVF, the embryo transfer, we're still figuring out when we're going to do that. There's no kind of set date for anything. It just feels like I'm back in limbo land, and it drives me wild. Anyway, sorry for this very depressing update, but I promise I am okay. The worst is definitely, I feel, for now behind me, and I feel like I can finally maybe move on. But I will try and keep this site, this YouTube channel, more regularly updated, and there'll be at least 3 videos coming on here today. So yeah, thanks very much for your patience and your love and your prayers and all that stuff. And I'd love to hear, for those of you who have emailed me, I'd love to hear where you guys are at with your journey. Tell me how IVF is going. Tell me how the wait is going. I'm like dying to know how things are going and progressing for you guys. So I'll leave it there. See you, ladies.